Awesome. Awesome. Great. So let's start up. First of all, thank you so much for Compilot team for joining us in this awesome workshop. This is not going to be useful only for the people that have joined right now, but also thousands of people that are going to look at it afterwards. Especially because the compliance thing is something that usually people are very unfamiliar with and sort of run away from, because most of the people growing up don't like to look at finances and rules and legalities. That's sort of the thing that happens usually. I heard in the Asian communities, they're very good numbers and they kind of aware of all these things, but in the America, UK, in this Indian regions, we sort of are very unaware. So I'm very glad that there's experts sitting with us today that can actually talk about compliance, and not only compliance for anything else, but for Web3 centric compliance specifically, because that is something that is just a very new field and a lot of people don't know about it. So I'm very happy that you guys are here. So one by one, if you don't mind, just start with a brief introduction so the audience knows who you guys are, and then we can go from there. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. My microphone is unmuted anyway, so let me go first. I'll ask me, okay, yeah, because there's a lot of background noise when you guys don't mute your microphones. So hello everyone, I'm Diana, I'm head of compliance at Compilot. I've been with the company for about 1 year, helping them to build the best compliance product. Before that, I was building compliance programs at big centralized exchanges like Crypto.com and BitGet. And I also work for the Financial Conduct Authority, FCA UK, which is the main financial regulator in the United Kingdom. Nice to meet you all, and I hope we'll have a nice, productive session. I'll pass over to my colleague Alix to introduce herself.
Yes, hello, nice to meet you all. I'm Alix. I'm marketing manager at Compilot. So today I will be talking about why you might need a compliance solution like Compilot, and explain a little bit more about what it is and what we do.
My name is Camille Valensi. I work as a customer success manager for Compilot. My goal is to accompany our partners with the integration of our solution and the day-to-day work with compliance with Compilot.
Yeah, and he also gives the best sessions on when you actually want to. So they have a Compilot again. Again, I know about Compilot. I'm excited about it, but I think just tell us a little bit about Compilot in general, and I think from very basic terminology. So even KYC, some people might not know. And I'll just let you define, explain that abbreviation as well.
Thank you. So the way we want to do, we would like this meeting to go is first we could define what compliance is using a small quiz, to answer a question about what is compliance, what it matters. And then, we are really excited to present Compilot, the way it works, how is it to work with, and what are the challenges that are tackled by our solution. And then at the end, I'd like to make a demo of the solution and keep some time so that we can answer any question from the audience, either on the solution or any compliance question, specific compliance question. We'll be happy to quiz. Your microphone is here.
So how the quiz works, everyone, is actually pretty simple. We want a volunteer who's going to come on board, and once you win the quiz, you will earn some points. There's a leaderboard button on your handout on the bottom left. So whenever you answer something correct, you will earn some points, and then at the end of the session, you'll have some points accumulated, and later on we'll actually reward you something based on whoever gets the most points. Because for today's session, I believe we have 3 questions, so there's going to be 3 winners. And then we'll just airdrop something awesome for you guys. Keeping that in mind, now I need a volunteer, and I'll bring them up to the center stage. Again, you don't have to have your camera on, but you do have to answer a trivia. The good news is you don't have to even speak if you don't want to. We would love that your camera is on and then you have your voice on so these guys can see your people's faces and your voice. But if you are shy and you don't want to do that, that's fine. The trivia is just going to be a multiple choice questions that's going to pop up on your screen and you just have to select an answer within 20 seconds, of course. Right now, I guess I'll just send over this message. Who wants to do the trivia? So anybody that wants to do the trivia question, they can just write a little message in the chat, and I'll just bring them on stage. So on the chat one is I volunteer. Mahin Sijat volunteers. It's a good thing she's already on the side stage. So just temporarily, I'm gonna swap Camille with Mahin. There's Mahin. And now Mahin is here. And we like Camille, but we're just gonna bring him back and center stage. Alright, so now Mahin, if you're ready, you're gonna have 20 seconds to answer this one. And I think this is probably the easiest one. So I hope you can get it right. Here's your quiz. And just for anybody else that can't see it is. Sorry, Camille. There you go. Okay, so game in itself. So, Mahin, if you can just speak or you can tell us the message, can you see the trivia on your screen?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. And let me just pop that question again for you.
All right.
There you go.
So, I do have the question on my screen.
What do you
And
think
now,
about this? Oh, you actually know the answer. Good stuff. All right.
Thank you for answering the question. The important key here is that compliance should be seen as your bodyguard.
Good. Sorry, I think it got cut off.
Next question. Oh, your microphone is mute. I don't hear.
I'm gonna let Imad handle this one because I tried to do this last time. Obviously, I didn't know what to do. So now, same thing. I think the next question is about to go on. Anybody else answer it? Let us know, and I'm gonna invite them on stage. So in the message, just let us know who wants to answer. Anybody wants to answer the trivia for some rewards? If you answer correctly, you get points, as Paul rightfully so mentioned. And Paul, thanks for being with us. He's actually one of our partners that is the main person for 40, this amazing platform that we use. So anybody in the audience that wants to answer trivia, can you guys hear me? Web3. Okay. And the options that they're getting. If it's allowing, is it allowing somebody else to answer too? Answer it. Who cares? Okay, so after this, why is after? Are you getting this? Oh, does compliance mean ID verification? It's much more than that. Oh god, like these questions were too easy, guys.
Yeah. So indeed, yeah, it's more than that. ID check is only a small part of the KYC, the compliance verification. Basically, that's what is seen when a customer tries to onboard. But in order to have a proper compliant onboarding, we need to have KYC. So KYC is about identifying the person who is trying to be your customer or using your services. So it involves ID check, but also liveness check, so taking a selfie and gathering information about the customer. So it could be email address, phone number, can be a proof of residence, It can be a Telegram account, a Twitter account. It can be anything that allows to identify a customer. And then another important feature is anti-money laundering system, where the objective here is to make sure that the customer that you identify during the KYC process does not pose a risk to your services. So here we are going to look for politically exposed person in particular, or people who have been sanctioned in the past, or people who are appearing in adverse media, article on the web that says they did something wrong financially before. And from there, you will have alerts, and compliance officer or compliance manager can review those alerts and decide whether this person can access your service or not. And then you have another. Sorry.
Basically shown within the kind of dashboard that Compilot has, basically, or is it like a manual process?
The AML is automated in Compilot. It's very important that for scalability, that as much as possible, all those features are completely automated. Then another very important feature is transaction monitoring. So basically, it's about finding or detecting transactions that are potentially at risk. So we will have patterns and rules that will trigger alerts if something a bit shady happens. Let's say, for instance, you have someone who does a transaction once a month, and then suddenly you start doing transaction every minute. Or you are someone who does transaction for 100 euros in average for a month, and then suddenly you start having transaction for millions of dollars. Then that will trigger an alert, and compliance officer and manager will have a look into it, and if necessary, it can block the transaction. And if we detect suspicious behavior, whether it's AML policies or transaction monitoring, we need to report them to actual authorities. And thus it's the same, like for reporting, it must be automated as much as possible, because reporting to authorities can be a lot of workload from an administrative point of view. So all those features are automated as much as it's possible to do.
Great. Awesome.
And then we have one last question for the quiz.
And we're gonna do it better this time, right, Irfan?
Yeah. Okay, again, Faizan has said that he wants to answer the question. So, Faizan, I'm going to invite you to the stage.
Sure, Ahmad.
And now we are going to send you the question. There you go. Just take your time, read it, and choose done. You've run out of time. Oh, you did it.
Just in time.
Just in time. Nice.
Until the last. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for answering the question. So yeah, of course, compliance is necessary for Web3. Web3 is a regulated market, even though there is some challenges related to Web3. First one is that you can, using this technology, you can have transaction on anything because of real-world asset tokenization, and anywhere in the world. So for compliance, from a compliance perspective, that's challenging. Of course, the transaction is identified by the wallet ID and the transaction ID. So it's anonymous. It can be more anonymous than traditional finance transaction. That's another challenge. And also smart contract. They are, by definition, by nature, they are permissionless, which means that anyone as long as anyone can actually interact with a smart contract. There is no role-based access. So if we want to allow only properly active onboarded users, we need to have a solution that will actually allow only identified users to access the smart contract. So that's an on-chain implementation of compliance that needs to be made. And we use what we call smart contract skating to only allow properly onboarded users to access the smart contract. So basically what we have seen here is that compliance is something that is very important. It's really there to protect your project, your company, your community, and it's composed of a lot of complex features that evolve all the time, and it's really necessary for Web3. So we have made a solution to allow you to implement this easily and fast, and we are proud to be working with Vanar on this. So now I'll let you meet Compilot.
Nice, and that's, I think, what I was waiting for, to show everybody how cool it looks.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm taking over to talk a little bit about Compilot. So indeed, you understood that compliance is essential even for you in Web3. And with Compilot, what we do is that we help make businesses compliant, and we try to make it as easy as possible. So who are the Compilot users and why do they use our solution? Why do you need a compliance solution? Our clients are Web3 businesses, maybe just like yours, that are based all over the world. Some of our clients are layer 1 protocols like Vanar, and some are layer 2 solution builders. So if you are a layer 2 solution yourself, you might know the struggle of figuring out which regulations apply to your specific project. So for instance, let's say you're building a play-to-earn game. Your regulatory requirements will be very different from someone that is creating a decentralized exchange. And those of you based, let's say, in Berlin, Germany, will face very different rules compared to your peers working from Dubai. And plus, these regulations are constantly changing. Now, these requirements mean you have to run different verifications. As Camille just said before, some of you might only need to check your users' identities. Others might need to verify residency or screen wallets for signs of money laundering. And before Compilot, you would do all of these checks in different tools. But that makes it a nightmare trying to get a clear picture of your users because the data then ends up all over the place. So when running those verifications, you inevitably end up with suspicious profiles, and you are obligated to investigate them to prevent bad actors from accessing your platform. And then comes the even more fun part, reporting to regulators. This is a very time-consuming process. And finally, we see with most of our clients that they need to bridge both on-chain and off-chain customer data for a complete view of their user profiles. And it's a lot to handle, especially when you're trying to focus on actually building your product, which might seem even more important than dealing with compliance. So how do we make all of this process so easy? So first of all, as a Compilot user, you can rely on our team of compliance experts. So you met Diana, who leads this team of compliance experts. And you can also rely on our AI assistant that's always available. So imagine, for example, you're launching a new NFT marketplace. So you've got our compliance team and our AI that can guide you through the exact regulations that you need to follow. Since we said before, depending on where you are and what your project is, those rules will be different. And we also help you set up the verification processes to ensure it matches with the requirements. With Compilot, you use only one tool to be fully compliant. So it brings together all the kinds of verifications that we talked about. So Camille talked about KYC, which is Know Your Customer, which is one type of verification. We talked also about anti-money laundering, we call AML, but we've got also trail surveillance, and all of this is in one tool, which is Compilot. So that way you have all the data on your customers, on-chain and off-chain, in one clear profile. Your Compilot subscriptions also gives you access to a kind of compliance command and control center. So it's automated and it centralizes all the data on your users, and it alerts you on suspicious profiles. And we turn all of this into dashboards and insights, so you save time, you gain efficiency, and you make decisions quickly. Let's say you're running a successful decentralized exchange, for example, and suddenly there's a bull run. So you don't have to panic hire new people for your compliance team, because with Compilot, we've got you covered, and you can handle all those customers and verify all their identities. Lastly, Compilot is Web3 native and super easy to implement into your existing system in just a few clicks with an SDK. It's fully customizable to adapt to your environment, and it provides a seamless experience for your users. So whether you're building a DeFi platform or a virtual world, Compilot will fit right in. So that was to give you an idea of why you may need compliance solution and why Compilot will answer all of your compliance needs. But I bet this is still a bit theoretical, so you've got Camille here who will show you more concretely what does Compilot look like and what it can do.
Thank you, Alix. So I wanted to share a very short video with you to highlight some of our features. Here is my video. Our video. Okay. So what you are seeing here is our dashboard and our settings. When you use Compilot, you have access to a dashboard as a compliance officer to orchestrate all your checks and deal with the onboarding of your customer and the ongoing monitoring. So this is the setting page where you define your onboarding process. Each steps represents one check that we are going to do. So as you can see here, there is identity verification, AML screening, duplicate detection in case someone tries to make multiple accounts on your services. There is a wallet screening as well that we use to detect if there was a risky transaction made with this wallet. Let's say, for instance, this wallet went through a mixer. You have fraud detection that will check for the IP and email address of the user to check if it's a bot or if it was used in a DDoS attack, for instance. And then you have the rule engine that is used to define different scenario that you want to make. For instance, let's say you don't want your services to be accessed by someone coming from a sanctioned country, such as North Korea, for instance. That's where you are going to define those kind of rules. Like if this person ID is coming from North Korea, then I want to reject this user. So it's very simple to implement, very, very quick. You just graphically do it, and then it will reflect directly on your website. So here, for instance, I will be able to set up my identity verification, where a user has to upload their IDs, but also their face scan, their proof of residence. And here you can see decided which contact information I want to get during the onboarding process. Compilot use multiple providers. So here, for example, for the wallet screening, I can choose with whom I want to work, and also I can set it up, define whether with what kind of wallet I want to work and what kind of test I want to make. And here you can see the rule engine. I can decide the set of rules that I want to use on a given test. So once this is done, I can publish my workflow, and then I will show you what it looks like from the customer perspective. So let's say now I'm a customer and I'm trying to access services. Here, as a customer, I'm going to start the workflow. And this is what your customer will see when they use your website. Of course, everything is here graphically can be changed, colors, logo, titles of the app. Of course, it's completely customizable. And as a customer here, I will have to upload my IDs to do my KYC. As a customer, I add my IDs, and I will have my selfie. In real life, the selfie must match the picture on the ID, otherwise you get rejected. So there is a lot of tests made behind the scene to make sure that the customer is the person it's pretending to be. And behind the scene as well, all the checks that have been set up, so AML, wallet screening, duplicate detection, is processed as well. And the result can be seen as a compliance officer in my dashboard, in my Compilot dashboard, where I can see all the data that the customer has been created. So here you see the customer screening, the audit trail, which allows to get all the information in one place for the customer. So as a compliance officer, if I want to check my customer, I get all the data right there. It's very, very simple to be able to
developing a DApp just needs to integrate Compilot, and then they don't have to keep track of what different countries' regulations are, because I think most of the dApps are used globally. And for a developer who's focusing on their product, they might not know, like, for example, just the ID thing that you're showing. So to be able to actually just automatically just select the ID based on the country that the user is in is very powerful, actually. There's a lot of countries and there's a lot of different kind of IDs out there. That's so very awesome and really easy.
Yeah. It's very strong. Also, it's linking automatically customer profile with his wallet, so you know who has what wallets, and it makes it much easier to trace transaction as well, to make sure that there is no financial crime behind some activities. That's it for my demo. The application, decentralized application, without having to change any line of code. So from the compliance officer perspective, like for someone who is working to detect fraud or financial crime, it's a blessing, because they can set up the workflow by themselves and change it as they want to.
Yeah, and especially like I've seen some, like, in Web 2 we're used to the e-commerce stores, right? It's a legal requirement. I think for a lot of dApps, it's just the functionality requirement that they're needing for. So it's very, very powerful. But let's carry on with the rest of the session, otherwise I'll keep asking.
Someone has a question in the chat box that what will we be adding to the contract, like a hash, contract ID, etc., to connect with the SDK with the contract. So if you could answer that.
Oh yeah. The way it works is that to connect to the smart contract, you will have to use an API of us. Whenever a customer tries to connect, the smart contract is going to request whenever you try to connect to the smart contract, the decentralized application will request an API it will use our signature to be able to start a transaction.
Awesome. Great.
I can share more documentation on that.
Okay, perfect. And then I think we can move to the next segment then. We haven't heard from Diana yet, so I'm eager to hear from her.
I'm here mostly for Q&A, so if people have questions around compliance, KYC, AML, and regulations, I'll be happy to answer those. But this is for the end, right? We have the last 10 minutes of Q&A, and I think we're approaching that time already. I don't know, Camille, if you have any more slides?
Okay.
No. Well, I've got one last slide, but if there is more question.
All right. So, guys, this is officially the Q&A starting up. So, anybody that has any kind of question related to compliance, related to the tool itself, go ahead and have your questions ready. Meanwhile, I'm just going to talk about the tool in general, and that way there's more clarification for you guys. And I think a lot of people that are on this call are just so new to this that they don't understand even the architecture of it or how it works. So one of the things when I first learned about Compilot which was kind of new to me, because when I looked at Web3 stuff, I usually consider that everything is on chain. But then I found out that actually the Compilot stuff is not on chain, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's actually you're integrating a system and centralized system for a very important reason, which is privacy, right? Because if all that information was on chain, all this address and all this face detection and images and all that, then it would be a very big breach of privacy and compliance in general. So I think just kind of having that a process that yes, it is a tool built for Web3 dApps and for a system, but it is actually a centralized system for that very reason. Another thing I would like to share, which it was really cool, and one of the key reasons why whether somebody is doing something wrong or whatever those checks are, is not just based on your dApp, like the one dApp. It's actually Compilot has the data for wallets from anybody that uses Compilot. So that means they are already sitting on lots of information for wallets that are being used on chain all over the globe. It just so happens when that certain wallet connects to your dApp, they're able to verify it from all the other data that they have collected from all the other verification apps. That's one point that I thought was very powerful, because now you don't have to kind of base because a lot of times, how telcos work in the Web2 is they actually produce that data, and because they have like the years of data on customers and everything, they will know things about and ban them or not ban them or give them some incentives. But in this case, in Web3, because the data is on chain,